We are reacting to Share My Story animated because I did want to see entertainment, and I know I did I know, and we're gonna react to Share My Story, but Share My Story is a channel where you can put your own story in there. If I like to share my story to share my story, but I don't know how I'm gonna give on that, but I don't know what we're gonna do. But so this video we're gonna react. The first story we're gonna react to is I found out why I'm hot. Doesn't mean the girl means she's running up and she got skin. I think she's hot and running like sweating. Let's watch it.
Hey, I'm Adriana,
Hi, Adriana.
and today I will tell you the story of how I fell asleep one night being an average-looking girl and then woke up the next morning having a huge butt. But first, go subscribe to Share My Story. It all started in 10th grade. We had this girl, Natalia, in our class who was a complete scumbag.
Okay,
While we
damn.
were on a class trip, I caught her throwing LSD into Emma's cup.
Wow.
Emma didn't have any friends and often got picked on.
Wow.
The LSD soon began to take effect, and Emma, who still didn't understand that she had been drugged, thought she was going crazy and started screaming and scratching the wall. Several of her nails broke, so I tried to calm her down. But then Natalia put on a mask and screamed, "You will die! You will die!" Emma got so frightened that she decided to jump out of the window. Lucky for her, we were on the first floor and she only sprained her ankle.
Ooh.
Natalia was unhinged, and worst of all, she had recently gone on several dates with my crush, Pedro. The thought of them becoming a couple made me want to die. When I told my mom about my heartaches, she said, "Don't worry, you have a gorgeous face. You just need to fix your breasts and butt a little. Do that and you can get any guy you want." Here in Brazil, plastic surgery
Your
is
mom was
not common,
good.
but I wasn't that kind of girl.
Yeah,
I cared more about good grades in school than makeup and partying.
Right.
However, the following week, my mom insisted I drank a cup of her tea. I agreed, and shortly after, fell asleep. My next memory is that of incredible pain. My butt was itching so badly that I started scratching off the outer layers of my skin. Don't do that! What is going on? Why does my butt hurt so much? Mom then explained to me that she had drugged me to fall asleep, and then called over her friend to inject silicone into my buttocks. The same procedure Nicki Minaj and Cardi B had to make their butts bigger. I was absolutely furious, especially after I read about the potential side effects, which include losing large chunks of flesh on your butt if your blood veins can no longer reach the cells.
Wow.
How could my own mom have done this to me? It took a whole month for the pain to go away and me being able to go back to school. It was so embarrassing then. You left school for a month to get a bigger butt? God, you are such a boss girl. In the end, my mom injecting poison into my butt kinda worked out well, because all the boys at my school were suddenly crazy after me, and that gave me the confidence to approach my crush. "Hey Pedro, I wanted to ask you if you want to go to the beach with me after school." "Oh, that sounds great, but I already made plans with Natalia." "Is she your girlfriend?" "Oh, not really." "Good, then cancel your plans with her and go out with me. I like you a lot." He couldn't resist me and my butt, and within weeks I made him my boyfriend. Then once I turned 18, I also got breast surgery. I guess that was the turning point for me. While I still loved Pedro, I was also aware that I could easily date much richer and much more successful guys than him. So when a celebrity reached out to me on Instagram, I couldn't resist the temptation. He offered me $5,000 just showing up at his party and doing a quick photo shoot. I didn't tell Pedro about it, and went on my own to this photo shoot. But of course, the celebrity actually wanted to pay me for something else. I could have said no, but I was young and stupid. I took the money, and soon after I dumped my boyfriend Pedro.
Damn.
Just because of my beauty and my Instagram followers, I suddenly got invited to the most exclusive parties, meeting the richest and most powerful people in Brazil. It was intoxicating, and I even became part of an agency that provided dates to wealthy politicians and businessmen. It turns out that many Brazilian men seem to get tired of their wives when they turn 40. That's when they start searching for side flings with younger women. One politician even asked me to start a family with him. He wanted me to move into a house right next to where his wife lived and then split his time between our two families. I rejected the offer because I prefer partying and having fun. I'm 28 now, and I already noticed that men don't look at me anymore as they did when I was 18. So I guess I'm already running out of time to find a good man. Meanwhile, Pedro got back with Natalia after I left him. They have 3 kids now, which is crazy, and of course I'm kind of jealous. Recently, I also had to surgically remove the silicone in my butt because of an infection. Silicone injections are really dangerous, so instead I'm using Brazilian butt lifts now to stay curvy.
Okay. That's a good video right there. That's a good video. Wow. She really didn't like why when she was 18. Well, my sister was not into that kind of way. She just wanted me to be around. But let's watch her recent video. Is those 3 psycho sisters. I think it's like a Hocus Pocus story. Yeah, but let's watch it anyway. Alright, just going to the ads. Alright.
Shop on Temu now. My dad was probably a psychopath. I know that because my 2 sisters are psychopaths too. I believe it runs in our family's genes. My mom told me 3 of us on the hill. She even had to kick out my sister Rita when she was only 14.
Wow.
She had sold our dog for $20 to a stranger just so she could buy herself some drugs. Anyway, 10 years later, our mom died.
Damn.
Us sisters were invited to the reading of the will. You should know that your mom's will was changed just 2 weeks ago. That's when your mom decided that all her money shall go to Suzanne. What? But my mom promised me that I would get her entire inheritance. After all, I was mom's favorite child, and she hated my sister Suzanne. Seriously, when Suzanne was 18, she seduced my mom's boyfriend. They had an affair until mom found them out at night, making out in her car inside the garage. That day, mom kicked Suzanne out too, and she hated her ever since. Actually, our mom was very sick for the last few months, so self-sacrificing as I am, I offered to take care of her. She must have finally realized how good of a person I am and left it all to me. Oh, really? Then tell me, how did Mom die again? She suffocated on a piece of meat. It's tragic.
Oh.
Right. And you had scratches
Suzanne.
all over your arms when the police arrived. That's because Mom was getting no air. She panicked and flailed her arms around. That's when she accidentally scratched me. Not my fault. To me, it was obvious. Suzanne had somehow forced my mom to change her will and then killed her. Until that point, I'd always thought I was the good girl in my family. But something inside me changed that day, and I was willing to do anything to take what was rightfully mine. So I came up with a plan. You see, my other sister Rita had always been obsessed with reptiles. As a child, she had several pet snakes that she loved to watch other animals alive. She normally just fed them rodents, but one time she found a kitten on the street, which she then fed to her boa constrictor.
Why?
As she called her, Mrs. Bone Crusher.
Miss Bone
Now
Crusher.
Rita was running a pet shop specializing in the sale of snakes. I visited her at home saying, let's talk about Suzanne. Isn't it unfair that she stole our inheritance? I engaged her in a long conversation and waited until Rita went to the bathroom. That's when I searched for her car key and made a copy of it. I did the same thing with Suzanne. I visited her saying how glad I was that she took care of Mom during her last few months. Then I used the first chance I got to make a copy of her house key. Next, I bought a grown eastern diamondback rattlesnake. It's the most venomous snake in North America, and it was supposed to inject its venom into my sister Suzanne. But I wanted to frame my other sister Rita for the crime because I hated her too. So at night, I went to Rita's house, got into her car with the copied key, and drove it to Suzanne. I also made sure that along the way, several security cameras caught Rita's car driving to Suzanne. I did so that the police would have enough evidence to convict Rita for the crime. I arrived at Suzanne's house, opened the door with a copy of her house key, and went inside with my snake in my right and a taser in my left hand. Look, I won't go into details, but eastern diamondback rattlesnake bites only have a fatality rate of around 20%.
Damn.
So to be safe, I made the snake bite her multiple times. Once Suzanne was unconscious, I dragged her from her bed into the backyard and laid her on the grass. The police found her 2 days later and started an investigation.
Yes.
Luckily, everything went as planned. The police immediately figured that no snake bites a human 6 times and always at the same spot around the neck area. Rita, who owned lots of snakes, immediately became the prime suspect. And when the police found the camera footage of her car driving to Suzanne's house at night, that's when they had enough evidence to lock her up. But don't feel bad for Rita. I told you, she's a psycho and doesn't deserve any better. Does Rita know I framed her for my crime? I'm not sure. But she will spend the next 27 years in prison and will have a lot of time to think about who did this to her. But until then, I'll enjoy the money I inherited from Suzanne.
Wow. That is so crazy. How is she really gonna do that? I think she was just thinking for it again. Her sister is one. But let me go back to her channel though. Yeah, we're gonna watch like 2 videos of her of this channel. So we're gonna watch 2 videos. So we're gonna watch this one. We're gonna watch this video. We're gonna watch is I'm wearing diapers at 17. I think she wears diapers. She's 16 years old, 17 years old. Let's watch it.
Hey, my name is Maria, and in this video, you'll find out how I told the guy I was dating that I still wear diapers even though I'm 17 years old. I guess you're wondering why I'm wearing diapers? Well, when I was a kid, I was in a serious car accident that left me with nerve damage in my lower spine. I had to have a lot of physical therapy to help me recover, and I also lost control of my bladder. Ever since, I've had to wear diapers. I sometimes feel ashamed about my condition, even though I know it's not my fault. And I never told anyone at school about it because I knew I'd be bullied. That's also why I hate PE class. I don't want any of my classmates to see my diapers when I change clothes. Luckily, I got a special permission to use a private changing room. I'm so grateful for that, even though I get teased for thinking I'm more important than everyone else, but I don't mind. I'm also always wearing long, flowy dresses at school, but no one knows why. I tell them it's because I like to look classy, but really, it's because if I was wearing jeans, everyone would see my diapers. My biggest worry was about dating, though. Would any guy ever love me despite my condition? And would I ever be brave enough to tell a guy about my secret? I wasn't sure, but then something tragic happened. A year ago, one of my classmates was diagnosed with a brain tumor and passed away. Her death put everything into perspective, and I realized how lucky I was and how short life could be. I mean, I could have died instead of her. After that, I decided not to be afraid of dating anymore, and I joined an online dating site. The first few guys I met were really weird, and I began to regret joining the site. But then I got lucky, and I met a really nice guy. His name is Mason, and we'd been dating for around 6 months when I decided I had to tell him about my condition. I told him we needed to talk, and he got really nervous because he thought I wanted to break up with him. When I told him about my condition and showed him my diapers, he was shocked, but he was still really sweet about it. He asked why I wore diapers, so I told him about the car accident and my nerve damage. I was so nervous because I didn't know if he'd want to stay with a girl in diapers. I mean, if he wanted to break up, I'd completely understand it, even though I'd be devastated. But then he said something which made me cry. He said he loved me for who I am, and my condition wasn't a problem for him because as long as I was happy, he'd be happy too. Wow, I can't describe how grateful I am to have Mason in my life. He accepts me the way I am, and for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm good enough. I mean, of course, I still wish I didn't have to wear diapers, but in the end, so what? I can still have a great life surrounded by beautiful people like Mason. Just remember that only you can decide how you react to the challenges you face. Do you wear diapers and feel sorry for yourself? Or do you wear diapers and make the most of your life? It's all up to you. Thanks for listening to my story, and please subscribe to this channel.
Wow. It's like no one could stop you for it. Like, no one could stop her. Like, no one could stop her doing it. So that was very easy to not know what she was going to do. It's like she knows what she want to do. So let's watch this last video. This last video we're going to react to is I have holes in my face. So that means she has holes like right here and here and here. You know that? Let's watch it because this is like a crazy video. I don't know.
Have you ever felt like you were locked into a small cage?
Yes.
That's how I felt all my life growing up. My parents controlled everything I did.
Wow.
They told me how to dress and who to be friends with in school.
Wow.
And of course, I was going to a girls-only school, which meant I had never talked to a single guy other than my dad and my cousin Ralph. One night, me and my dad got into a fight because he didn't allow me to have a sleepover at my classmate's home.
Wow.
My dad was worried about my classmate's brother, who was the same age as me. He thought we would make out and have a baby or something. But I was 17 and so desperate for freedom that night I ran away from home and moved in with my cousin, Tara. My parents had no idea where I was, and a crazy period in my life started. I made a complete 180-degree turnaround and started partying every night. Then I got a big tattoo over my belly, just so I could send a photo of it to my dad to shock him. When he responded back, he called me a disgrace and told me to come back as long as I was a virgin. But I just replied, "Oh, you are so naive, Dad." And then I sent him a photo of me kissing some random guy at a club. I can't describe how much I enjoyed making my dad angry.
Wow.
And I thought very hard about what could be the most extreme thing I could do to shock him. But then I had the perfect idea. I would get 2 holes in my face. One on my left cheek, one on my right cheek.
Oh, don't do that.
It wasn't easy to find a body piercer who was willing to put holes into my face. Most thought I had some psychological issue. But where there is a will, there is a way. And when it was finally done, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I ran home, went to the bathroom, and brushed my teeth through one of the 2 holes while taking a selfie. Of course, I immediately sent it to my dad and said, "This is all your fault." It took him a whole day to respond, but all he said was, "You are a disgrace. Don't ever contact us again." It felt so good to make my dad angry, but it came at a great cost. I started to become more and more self-destructive, and for Christmas, I sent all my parents' neighbors a postcard with my face on it. I knew my dad cared a lot about his reputation. He wanted everyone to think we were the perfect family. But now, everyone would see the truth. This time, my dad responded by contacting the authorities and telling them I was mentally ill and needed to be locked away. But when they found me and did a psychiatric assessment, it only said I was depressed. So they couldn't lock me away into a psychiatric ward. They also did a blood test on me and found out I was hepatitis B positive. I'm sure my boyfriend gave it to me. He slept with a new girl almost every night, and when we met, we never used protection. I had always looked up to pop stars who did whatever they wanted and partied like crazy, but that life didn't make me happy. I'm still trying to get out of it, but my life is such a big mess. I don't even know where to start. And by the way, why didn't I just Photoshop the 2 holes into my face on a photo? It would have been easier, faster, and less painful. I could have still sent a photoshopped image to my dad to make him angry. But now, my face is ruined forever. Gosh, my life is a nightmare.
Oh, she can't put it back. She can't put back her own face back in. Oh, I feel sorry for this girl. She can't finish the video. She finished it, so I feel sorry for this girl though. But anyway, she I really love the like share my story because share my story is like good. Well, I should share one of my stories, but I really want to share my story myself. But I will give you, and I will make a fine fucking skip my explain video because I'm going to do the Sandrina. I'm gonna give you the whole story of Sandrina, and And I will tell you how I did it. So I just give you that. It doesn't really do anything. So I'll end it right here. Trying to swap. Love you. Bye bye.